Hi guys, welcome to my channel A for Azure. In this video, we will cover basics of resource groups, their benefits, and how they work within the Azure Resource Manager. We will also demonstrate some labs exercises to help you understand how to create, modify, and delete resource groups. So, what are resource groups? Resource groups are a fundamental building block in Azure that allows you to group and manage related resources such as virtual machines, storage accounts, and virtual networks. They provide a way to manage resources in a logically more meaningful way rather than having them scattered across your Azure subscription. And what could be the benefits of these resource groups? So, resource group provides several benefits such as simplified management, cost management, security, and managing the overall application lifecycle. So, how does it simplify the management? They help to simplify management of related resources, making it easier to organize, deploy, and monitor these resources together. They share the same lifecycle. Cost management, they allow you to manage costs by grouping resources that share the same billing requirements. This makes it easier to monitor and control cost. And for security, resources provide an additional layer of security by allowing you to assign security policies and permissions at the resource group level. So, how do resource groups work within the Azure Resource Manager? Resource groups are managed by the Azure Resource Manager. The Azure Resource Manager is a management layer that enables you to create, manage, and delete resources in your Azure subscription. It provides a unified API that allows you to interact with all your resources in a consistent manner. Moving forward, we have discussed what are resource groups, benefits of resource groups, how do resource groups work within the Azure Resource Manager. So finally, without wasting any more time, let's move to our labs to learn how to create, modify, and delete resource groups. So we are logged into Azure subscription that we created in our session one, and you're aware how to log into the Azure portal by going to portal.azure.com and signing in with your Azure credentials. So we will look at how to create our resource groups now. So we will select resource groups on the left. You will see resource groups here, and then click on the create button on the top. You will see your existing resource groups here, and you can manage your other options, which is exporting all the resource groups into CSV, doing a query, which is by Custo language, and managing the views. You can create multiple views as per your different team members or your business requirements. So we will create a resource group. Here you will see it's asking for basic information where it's asking you to choose your subscription where you want to create the resource group. Type the name of the resource group. We'll say AZ900-2, and then it's asking where do you want to create your resource group. So you've seen in the previous sessions what regions are. So we'll choose a region which is close to us. So we'll say North Europe and click next. So here you can provide your tags. So tags again we have discussed in the previous videos. We will say lab dev. It's a lab environment and a development environment. We'll click review and create. Here you will see the summary of the selections that we have made. And finally, you can click on create and it will create your new resource group. And you can see the new resource group is created here. We can click on it and go to the resource group. And so far we see no resources match your filters. So now let's add some resources to this resource group we just created. So for this demo, I will go ahead and add a virtual machine to this resource group because a virtual machine will also create some additional objects related to that resource. And we'll see how we can do that and contain all of those dependencies within a single resource group. So for this, I am already in the resource group that we just created, and I will go and click on create. And it is giving me an option to add a resource from the marketplace. We can add resource from the Microsoft Service Gallery or from the marketplace. So I will search for virtual machines. And here you can see that virtual machine from Microsoft is published here, which we can go ahead and select and create. But you also have other options. We would be discussing this in more details in coming videos and also discussing virtual machines in more details. But for now, I will choose virtual machine, and you will see all the details where it talks about the overview, the plans, usage information and support, and any existing ratings and reviews. And here you will see whether there are any other plans related to this virtual machine. So we'll click on create, and again it takes me to the virtual machine creation blade. Since this is a resource group creation session and not a virtual machine session, we'll quickly run through this visual and I'll fill the basic details to show you how the resources are created and they hold up inside a resource group. So I'll name it as VM1 in RG1, just a rare name so that it doesn't conflict with any other name. And we'll not look into a lot of details here because we'll be coming back for this in another session. I'll put my name, a password here so that the resource can be created, and we'll just not look much into these details. I'll click next, 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 and go through all the tabs, which is basic, disk, networking, management, monitoring, advanced, and then tags and review and create. So on the final page, you will see that it's running a pre-flight validation where it will validate for all the information we have provided and does it conflict with anything or if the resource can be provisioned. So we see that is a green check, which means the validation has passed. We'll quickly click on create, and now it's submitting my information for creation of this virtual machine. So resource creation will take another 1 or 2 minutes. I'll pause the video and come back as soon the resource is ready. Here we go. The deployment is complete and our VM is created inside the resource group. So if we click on the resource group here, we'll go back to the resource group and we should see all the resources that were created with the virtual machine. So we can see that all the resources were created inside the resource group. And if we want to remove them, we can either select them and go to the ribbon on the top and click on delete and type yes to confirm and delete the resources. Or if we want to delete them together with the resource group, we can go ahead and choose the option delete resource group. Type the resource group name here and select the delete option. Once we do that, we will see that it has started to delete the resource group, and soon we should see that one by one these resources should start to delete. So we'll pause the video here and I'll come back as soon the resources are deleted. So we can see that the resources are deleted and also the resource group should be deleted. So if we go back to resource groups and we refresh, we should not see that resource group here, which is AZ900. So to conclude here, in this tutorial, we covered the basics of resource groups, their benefits, and how they work within the Azure Resource Manager. We also demonstrated some labs exercises to help you understand how to create, modify, and delete resource groups. We hope you found this tutorial helpful, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Thank you for watching.